You've scoured the galaxy and traversed endless terrain. Now at last you find yourself at the new Hotness Pop Culture channel! We take the coolest pop culture and showcase it, taking the old and busted and turning it into the new hotness. This is the Riobot 1/12 scale Veritech Ride or VR052F Cyclone fighter from Sentinel Toys. Military designation, the Mospeada. The artwork on the box was created by Mercy Robot, and this is the sophisticated mecha that Stick, or Scott, operates. Let's take a look inside. We have the figure itself dressed in the attachment armor, Scott's helmetless head, 4 sets of hands all up, and the EP-37 60mm handheld particle beam gun, with GR-97 missile tubes on the front of the Cyclone itself. It comes with a display stand and a repositional arm to help with display options. And a full colour instruction booklet on how to transform the mecha. This is a 6-inch figure, and the proportions look fantastic from any angle. Let's take a look at the hands. They are slightly rubbery, but in the cool will harden quite hard, requiring you to warm them in hot water to allow them to detach without fear of breaking anything. It comes with the riding hands attached, which looks fantastic on the bike. And they hold fruit really well.
God, how do you feel?
I feel like somebody's been using my head to break walnuts. We'd better get out of here.
Gun holding hands for the particle beam gun, and the gun itself has some very nice painted apps for the sensors.
Hang on, we're about to be blasted! Why doesn't he shoot? What's going on out there?
Using a combination of hands on this figure really enhances its lifelike design.
Lancer, coming into range. Now, on my order.
Ready.
Counting down 3, 2, 1. Fire!
Firing!
As already shown, the figure is very dynamic in its range of movement, and Mr. Shinji Aramaki, as the designer for the Sentinel release, along with T-Rex, who was in charge of the prototype production, and Yoji Hayakawa, or Sanka Ren, as the design finisher. Together, as I'm sure you'll agree, have all done an amazing job at getting the figure to look lifelike in whatever pose it's placed, which makes it stand out from among other similar figure releases out there. Now let's talk about the ride armor itself, or the Military Operations Soldier Protect Emergency Aviation Dive Auto. Personally, I thought of a couple of better explanations for the acronym, like Multi-Operational Scenario Personal Emergency Automatic Deployment Armor, but they're not canon. Embedded in the Legios as a secondary weapon system, not only is it able to get a downed pilot out from behind enemy lines, but it is also able to be used as a forward offensive platform and extremely effective against alien enemy forces. So how does the ride armor, or Cyclone, work? Anyone can ride it, But in order to use the robotic armor, the attachment components must be put on first in order for the bike to be able to transform. The bike will then recognize the operator and adapt itself to the wearer's under armor, allowing it to wrap itself almost instantly around the rider, forming the robotic exosuit and allowing limited flight capabilities. To make a couple of improvements, I noticed Scott's hairline at the back was a little bare, so I got out my green Sharpie, which should be the right colour, and filled it in. Next, I want to put an instrument panel in, and like I said in the previous video, I like what John Mospeada did to customize the Sentinel Cyclones, so I want to make a glow-in-the-dark dashboard like he did. I'm sure that Sentinel left one out on purpose, so that collectors like myself would make something appropriate to fill the space. So I got out my REF field guide and got to work. I first make a quick reference and create the shape of the space to be filled. Then use the reference to create the instruments. After using the print scale to get the right size, I then printed them on some holographic sticker sheet, which will catch the light nicely at the right angle. Now that I have my test dashboards printed out, I'm going to do some testing to see what looks best. To get the glow effect I want, I use these Neon Glow UV Sharpies. I've masked the area so I don't get any bleeding, as any mistakes will literally glow brightly. So wish me luck, let's hope this works. To make it glow in the dark, I have this powder I picked up from Stuart Semple of Culture Hustle. He's over in England, and this is Lit, the brightest glow powder ever made. And you can order his products online at culturehustle.com. Okay, so this is what I have. This one at the end is a coloured printout onto the holographic paper with neon glow Sharpie over the top. The one right over here is a colour printout straight onto the holographic paper. I really do like the colours on this one. This next one is a print straight onto the holographic paper, and you can see how nicely it flashes just on its own. This is the one with the glow powder glued to the surface. And this first one is the one that has no colour printing and has the neon Sharpies laid straight onto the holographic surface. Time to test them out under blacklight and in the dark. With this one, in order to get the panel to glow, I put glue in each individual square and carefully sprinkled the different coloured powders into each one. And it seems to have turned out okay. It did get a little bit of a bleed, but it just looks like a light bleed in the dark. It looks pretty good. Although this one is not quite as neat, it looks really good in low light, so I'm going to put this one on the bike. A quick dusting, ready to apply the sticker. Now to colour the buttons. Now to light the Mospeada Cyclone itself. As with our first episode, the parts we need to light are extremely small, so using Tesla's induction lighting method is the most appropriate way to light the bike and still allow it to transform. I put two small LEDs into the rear light and had to actually drill through a screw to reach it. The next step is to remove both headlights / sensor units to place the LEDs inside. This is the most terrifying part of the mod, as I have to carefully disassemble the most visible part of the bike without breaking it. I had to snap this part out on both sides to get the units out. So from there, I had this single piece here, which has the headlights and the sensor on one side. What I did was carefully, I'll zoom in a little bit, drill a hole just through there. I was going to go through the back from the inside, which I did start, but I found it better to come through here, and that then ever so gently pulled the lens out, which means I can now go in from the front instead of the back and light it that way. So I've done that for both sides. The second side, or the small headlight, I had to actually go in from You can see how there's a bevel inside here, or a ledge. An extra step is probably a better term. And I was able to go in from this side and drill a hole slightly in there, which then broke the glue. There's a very light glue seal in there. I was able to break that, and now I have both lenses out so I can light it. I found that the inside also lights well. If I put a single LED, it'll light both lights up. You can see how that one's open to the back, and that has a white background, and they light up quite nicely just with a little single LED from the inside in there. Look at my finger and pull it inside there. So yeah, I'll do this side and then the other side, and we'll see how it looks. Just to check my work, now that the headlights are drilled out, I'm making sure the LEDs are in the right alignment before I start gluing anything. Now I've glued in the LED that will light the sensor unit in Cyclone mode, and painting the drilled out part the same gunmetal color before placing the headlight LEDs into place. Now that that's done, I'll need to reshape the headlight lenses to accommodate the new LEDs. Eventually getting them level, I then buff them on the back side of the sandpaper to give them a flat shiny finish. It almost feels like I'm doing a basic form of lapidary, like shaping a gemstone. I finally place the glue and headlight LEDs into position and glue the lenses into place with some Model Craft canopy glue. And I did all this to both sides. Time to put the sensors back in, and the sides of the cowling to keep it all together. Scott Bernard is the central character in the New Generation portion of Robotech, aka Mospeada. Born in space in 2023 and calling the Mars colony home, he's part of the Robotech Expeditionary Force, or the RAF. He grew up unfamiliar with Earth, being kept at bay by Invid, aka Inbit forces. But in 2042, at the age of 19, he was a pilot with the 21st Mars Division, an advanced group sent to reclaim Earth from the Invid. Before the mission, he proposed to his girlfriend and fellow soldier, Marlene Rush. Unfortunately, the entire division was destroyed in the attack, and Scott was the sole survivor. Despite the devastating loss of Marlene and crash landing on Earth, he continues his mission to reach Reflex Point, the Invid's headquarters, believing that Admiral Rick Hunter will eventually return with the full RAF to liberate the planet. Scott is trained to be a skilled Veritech pilot and Cyclone rider, and a natural, though sometimes reluctant leader. As he makes his way to Reflex Point, he gathers a ragtag group of freedom fighters who become a family to him and help him overcome his initial encounter with grief and bitterness. He develops a relationship with an undercover Invid spy named Ariel, who has taken on human form but forgotten who she was. The English actor for Scott is voiced by Greg Snagoff. The Mospeada Ride Armor, or Cyclone, is the smallest transformable mecha created by the Robotech Defense Force Consortium. Used on Mars, the moons of Saturn, and of course Earth, it features the latest robotechnology has to offer regarding robotic joint mobility, speed and strength in series under real-world impact forces, coupled with updated instantaneous haptic feedback, and advanced baseline AI anti-collision reflex systems built into the software, allowing the robotic system, independent of the operator, the ability to utilize a 4 moves ahead assimilation simulation, so that the operator need only concentrate on the task without needing to worry about inertia physics or accidental collisions. Finally, I add some 3D printed touches to complete Scott, making him as authentic as possible to the show. I want to shout out to my good friend Luca at Luca Sprues for printing the 3D pieces for me. I'll put a link in the description for him, so go check out his channel and the other creators I've referred to in this video.
Just call me Paul Bunyan. Hey, come on, isn't anybody impressed?
Well, what do you want, a standing ovation or something?